History of Video Games. I'm Mike Coletta.
And I'm Tyler Osby.
And today we're doing a little tier list. This idea came from Alexa, and this is to tier list video game protagonists.
Yeah, thank you, Alexa, who always has really great ideas.
Solid ideas. And once again, Tyler and I are in the same room together. Is it the same day we recorded the last one? I don't know. Time is a never-ending circle. Is that the phrase? I forget.
Time's an illusion. Time is an Ouroboros eating itself.
Yeah.
I don't know. We experience time like Dr. Manhattan does.
That's right. Yeah. Wow, you just got right into the microphone there. It just turned on.
Oh. It's Have you seen the meme with Dr. Manhattan that's been going around?
No.
It's 1989. Batman and Indiana Jones is in theaters. It's 2008. Batman and Indiana Jones are in theaters.
Oh.
It's 2023. Batman and Indiana Jones are in theaters.
That's what we're doing right now. We're doing that, but we're recording, and that's how it's working. So, okay, Tyler, we found a list. It's on tiermaker.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's what we're using for this list here, this tier list. But what we're going to figure out right now is like what protagonists we're basing them off each other, right? We're comparing them to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there will be some low protagonists in the D and F tier here, but that doesn't mean they're bad protagonists. It just
That's
means
right.
compared to the rest that we have on this list, we're just comparing them to each other. Right?
We're just comparing them back and forth, and that's the way it is. Okay. So we're starting out, and we skipped some protagonists on this list that we don't know at all.
Yeah.
And we're going to add some in the second episode. We're going to have a list of more of the ones that we know, and we're going to make it. We're going to hybridize this list we found on tiermaker.com. Okay.
Yeah. And tell us if you like this stuff, right? If you don't like it, also tell us because we want to know what you like.
So the first one is I always called him the Hitman guy.
It's Agent 47.
Agent 47, but I've played Hitman games. Have you played Hitman games?
Briefly, I remember, do you remember Computer Gaming World?
Yes, I do.
That magazine I love that magazine. Like, it was the greatest. It used to come with a demo disc in every issue.
Ooh.
And in one of the issues that I managed to get my mom to buy me, because I could always get my mom to buy me something to read, it had a demo disc with Hitman 2 Silent Assassin on it.
Ooh.
So I played that demo a little bit. That's it. That's my Hitman experience.
Hitman's pretty cool because Hitman's it's like puzzle game, but it's murder. It's murder puzzles.
Murder puzzles, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually played also on the same line as that. My first PC I ever built, the graphics card came with a Hitman game.
Oh, nice.
And that's how I played Hitman.
Which Hitman was it?
Ooh, that's the real question. This was 2004.
So it might have been 3?
It might have been 3. Was it
Contracts?
Blood Money or Contracts?
Blood Money was after Contracts, I think. I don't know why I'm aware of the chronology of Hitman games when I've spent very little time playing.
Yeah, I think it was Contracts. Pretty sure I still have the disc. I could find the disc, but I don't want to stop right now. But yeah, it's so I played that and I enjoyed it. I liked the puzzle aspect to it. I don't think I beat it, but I don't know much about Agent 47's story. I know he's kind of a trapped in being a hitman, right? That's kind of
and I want to say he was cloned or bred to be an assassin, I think.
And I always kind of looked at him like, okay, this is the hitman that he's a character that's kind of middle of the road, you know?
Yeah, I think he's meant to be you can project yourself onto this character.
Yeah, and in that sense, I think we should make him C tier.
I was just gonna say that. I 100% agree with you.
Okay, good, because I was like, yeah, we need to keep our tiers. We need a middle ground. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the next one on this list is Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2.
I watched my partner play through Red Dead Redemption 2, and Arthur Morgan is fantastic.
I agree. Very good character. It's hard to talk about him without spoiling stuff.
Right. This is going to get weird when we have to talk about John Marston.
It is going to get weird when we talk about John Marston because personally, you ready for it? I'm a bigger fan of Arthur Morgan than John Marston.
Here's my deal.
What?
I say Arthur is A tier.
A tier?
Yeah.
I would agree with A tier.
Okay.
For Arthur Morgan. I wanted to put him in S, but it's too early. And again, we could also switch things around.
We can always change things.
I think Arthur Morgan's story is more interesting than John Marston's.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Especially with the big twist at the end of what's going on with him. That makes you like, oh, we're in the Wild West. That's kind of what made you hit and think about it. It's really cool. So props to Rockstar. Okay. The next one is a guy from a Resident Evil game. This guy right here.
Chris Redfield.
Chris Redfield. I have never... Well, it's not true. I played a little bit of Resident Evil Deadly Silence as a kid. That's the Nintendo DS version of it. The one that I sold that I shouldn't have sold. But
it's worth a lot of money now.
It's worth quite a bit of money now. I bought it for like $30. I think it's up to $100 now. Dang. It's one of those games that I'm going to come back to. In fact, I have it on my Steam library to play for this very podcast because I think Halloween time.
It's on Steam too?
It's on Steam, yeah.
Oh, wow.
This Halloween, I think I'm going to be playing some Resident Evil. So,
right.
Or Silent Hill. I haven't decided yet.
Have we done an episode on Resident Evil?
I don't think so. We did horror games, but we didn't do Resident Evil.
That might be worth doing.
It might be. It would definitely be worth doing. It's like the horror series, I feel like.
Yeah, I haven't played really any of them. I spent a little bit of time playing 5, which is the one. Chris Redfield's in a few of them, but I think he's like the main guy in the 5th one, right?
Yeah.
I played a decent chunk of the 4th one because I had the version for Wii because I thought it was a really good demonstration of the Wii motion controls.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like the better way to play that game.
That was a green room in the theater department too in college. There was a guy playing that in there as well.
Okay.
I remember it.
It was me.
It was you?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I thought it was Cameron.
I don't know.
Remember Cameron?
Nope.
Not using his last name. I could, but that would give you more. That would give
I do remember a Cameron.
Yeah, that would give you
I don't
more
know if we're talking about
context.
the same Cameron.
Maybe 2 different Camerons.
Maybe.
Well, he played it, so shout out to Cameron, everybody.
Yep.
The nameless Cameron. What do you think, though? I don't know anything about this Resident Evil guy that much.
I'm making him D tier, just personally, because I don't. Like, I don't know if we should have. Maybe we should have just.
What
moved
if
him
we
off the
hold off
list.
on him? Let's just not have him in here, and let's take the other Resident Evil guy off too.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll hold off
because
for now.
I don't want to say things out of turn. You know?
Yeah, I don't want to be like saying stuff that's not true about Chris Redfield and then like lowering his rating because of it, and then somebody's going to be mad at us and be like, "You don't know anything about this. Why are you ranking him?"
And
So
some guy in a Chris Redfield T-shirt is going to get really mad at us.
Yep.
Facts. Next one should be someone that you are very familiar with, and that is from Final Fantasy VII.
Cloud Strife.
Mm-hmm. I forgot his last name was Strife.
Instant S tier.
Instant S tier. I'm not going to fight you on it because I personally, again, another game I haven't played that makes me look like a non-gamer.
Yeah.
Because I never played Final Fantasy VII.
Dang,
or
dude.
its remake.
You should play both of them. You should play the original first because the remake is just a little bit spoilery, but the remake is more of a sequel than it is a remake.
Okay. So I need to play it's a sequel?
They do some weird stuff.
Oh, so you're not playing the same thing over again?
No.
But it's called a remake?
Yeah. They do some weird stuff.
This
is going to make
very...
it real interesting later on when they put more parts out.
Okay, this is really Final Fantasy-y. Final Fantasy-y? Yeah, it works.
Yeah. This is the only Final Fantasy protagonist we have on the list, though. So.
Yeah, I kind of was upset that the Squall wasn't on there because that's the one I did play.
Yeah, well, we can add him.
We can add Squall.
This is our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
We can do whatever we want. He'll be in the next episode then because we'll have a list of protagonists we can add. We can add other Final Fantasy protagonists that you like as well.
Oh, man. I could do a whole tier list on just Final Fantasy protagonists.
We might do it at some point.
Maybe.
Oh, man. This is an exciting time. I don't remember who this guy is that we're looking at right here.
I don't either.
You don't remember? Well, he's going to the bottom of the list. Take that. That's the hard part with these tier lists, folks. They don't have the names. They just have the pictures.
Yeah. When you find them on tiermaker.com.
Yeah, we're using that as a starting point, though.
Yeah, we'll have some of our own stuff later.
And I'm going to save this for later, too.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is a protagonist that is a playable character in the DLCs of the game, and that is Elizabeth from Bioshock 3.
Yeah.
Or Bioshock Infinite, excuse me.
I love Bioshock Infinite. I think I liked it better than the other two. Mm-hmm. I know it's a little controversial. A lot of people didn't like Infinite as much as the first two, but I liked it better.
You like it better?
Yep.
I respectfully disagree because I think the first one is my favorite.
The first one is great. They're all great.
And they're all good. And the second one is good too, especially Minerva's Den. You know I'm a Minerva's Den stan.
Is real good.
I would vote Minerva's Den over 2.
Minerva's Den might be best DLC. If we were ranking DLCs, I might put Minerva's
that's a
Den.
good idea. Tier list DLCs.
Yep.
Minerva's Den would be S tier. Okay, well, what do we think about Elizabeth? I don't think she should go up that high. I'm thinking B.
I was going to say, I'll put her, I would be willing to compromise. I would say A in my heart, but I would be willing to compromise and say B.
I'm putting her in B for Bioshock.
Okay, sure.
That's how I do this.
Yeah.
It's really, and in that, okay, Ellie from The Last of Us is L for Last of Us, so she's all the way in the L tier.
Yeah, dang. I personally love both Last of Us games.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to play the remake of the first one, Part 1.
Yeah.
When it gets cheaper on Steam.
That's my thing, right? I have it on my wish list.
$60 or something.
PS, like Sony games, I'm glad they're branching out and they're putting their games on Steam. I'm not happy about the price tag.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank just came out and it's like $60. I'm like, this game is like
way
3 years
too
old.
much. Way too much.
It's too many
It's
many
much
bucks.
money. The whole point of PC gaming is it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's too many bucks.
Too many
I
bucks,
don't wanna
especially
spend that
for a
many
game
bucks.
that's been out forever.
Right.
That's too many bucks. If
Yeah.
it was brand new, not too many bucks.
Yeah, but it's not, and I've already played it. So like, they're not getting me to double dip when they put them at full prices. I would, because I would. If Ratchet and Clank was $20, I'd bought it instantly.
When you play a Sony game that you've played on PlayStation before, for you, it's a passion project,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You're putting your heart and soul into it.
that's right. And I didn't even buy Spider-Man on PC.
I haven't either.
When it goes on sale, I will. When it's $20, I will.
Yeah, I'm very much a patient gamer now for that reason.
Yep.
Okay. Well, where do you want to put Ellie? Because I have no experience. I only know the show.
You haven't played The Last of Us games?
I haven't played The Last of Us at all.
You should. You're very lucky you get to play them for the first time.
Oh, thank you. Most of the PlayStation games that are on this list of exclusive protagonists, I have no experience with.
Okay.
I played The Last of Us, and I've told the story before on the podcast, but I played it. I borrowed my friend's PlayStation, and then he moved, so I had to give it back. So I played like the first hour of The Last of Us, probably.
Oh, that's a tough first hour.
I was walking through the woods as Joel, and then I had to give the PlayStation back.
Oh, man.
I remember being at my apartment in Renton when he called me, and it was a bummer. I mean, that's the place I used to live. It doesn't even matter. No one knows. Okay.
You just doxed yourself.
I just doxed myself.
Where you used to live.
Where do you want to put Ellie on here, though?
I want to put Ellie at S tier. I think she is, like, from just a character perspective, she is one of the most well fleshed out characters and most complex characters in gaming.
I like that. I like that she has because I feel hard. It's going to be hard for me when we get to more nameless protagonists because I don't want to put nameless protagonists in S tier because, yeah, they're game they're in, they're cool, and we all think they're, like, cool looking, but they have no backstory in the game.
Yeah.
Like when we get to John, Sierra 117, we have backstory in books in the lore, but we don't have anything in the games, which makes me like hesitant.
I feel like Halo 4 and
They
5,
kind of branched out, I guess,
they
a
go
little
back.
bit.
Like
Yeah.
the opening cutscene in 4 is like John as a kid, right?
Oh,
And Halsey's
yeah.
like, I picked you or something like
Oh,
that.
I haven't played. I should replay 4 again. Okay.
We played 4.
We did play
We
4.
We co-opted every Halo game.
That was so fun.
Yeah,
We're going to do
except
that
Infinite
again.
because it's co-op's still not for Infinite. Did they cancel it? I think they canceled the co-op.
They
for
canceled the co-op for Infinite?
Infinite. It was supposed to come
It
out.
was in beta.
I think they canceled it.
Oh my gosh. That's a bad move by Microsoft in my opinion.
Because that game came out in like in November of 2020, 2021. And then the co-op was supposed to come out in like May of the next year. And it's been like 2 or 3 years now.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's real bad.
Anyway.
Yeah,
keep playing
well.
Infinite together.
Okay, so we have Ellie in the S tier. The next one is Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Is that Altair or Ezio?
I believe is it Ezio the character? It's the person you play as in the Mindscape thing, like the actual assassin you play as. So
in which game though?
In the first game.
In the first one, it's Altair. Then.
It's Altair, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this really that? Like, I mean,
I don't think Altair is that great. I think Ezio's better.
Yeah, I watched my friend play this game. I have not played this Assassin's Creed game. I played Black Flag, but I didn't play this one.
Black Flag's great.
Yeah. So in that sense, where do we want to put him?
I'm willing to say D tier.
D tier? Boom.
Yeah,
Get roasted Assassin's
crack
Creed.
the seal on the D tier. We don't have anything in the F tier yet. There's no
that,
E tier.
Take that, Ubisoft, and your silly tower system to discover maps areas.
Although that game basically invented the tower system to discover
really
maps.
did,
So
yeah.
it's like when you watch Seinfeld and you're like, this is all cliches. It's like it's because Seinfeld invented those
That's
cliches.
true.
Right?
It's very true. Yep. Or if you read an old book, you're like, that idea is not new, and you're like, yeah, it was the first person to say that. That's why it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is a man near and dear to my heart just of this year. Geralt of Rivia.
I don't know enough about him to be able to accurately rank, so I follow your lead here. Why do you love Geralt?
I love Geralt because there's a lot of things in the story I feel like that kind of show him in like he has different phases of himself, like because he's old in the show, right?
Yeah.
And so you get to watch him like grow and change, at least in The Witcher 3, I feel like. And because of that, I want to put him up high, but I don't think he's S tier.
Does the TV show factor in? Is the TV show allowed to factor in when we rank these? Because I
I
didn't
think
think about
you can. And again, okay, hardcore Witcher stans are going to get on me for this, but I felt like the TV show did a decent job, at least in the first season, of giving some character to.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I understand, but I don't know if it'll really factor in. I'm trying to base it entirely off of him in Witcher 3, because I haven't played the first two Witchers, because I've heard they're not. Well, I've heard they're kind of worth it, but they're very different.
If you
than
want,
Witcher 3.
I think they're worth it if you want the story.
Yeah.
I think from a gameplay perspective, they're like not really worth it.
Yeah. He's like kind of your generic wandering awesome guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think he really pushes it to the S tier for me. I kind of want to put him for A.
Okay.
Is A okay?
A-okay.
A okay. I have a character I want to put in the S tier on this list that I know I do. And like I think we're going to both be in agreement on that for sure.
Okay.
So, all right. The next one is going to hurt my feelings that I'm not going to give him the love he deserves, but it's Gordon Freeman from Half-Life.
Mr. Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the fan theories about how G-Man is Gordon Freeman?
Yes.
I love that.
I do too. Because they look kind of similar.
They do. They both have green eyes. Like green eyes is when you give a character green eyes, you're making a choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think Gordon Freeman, because he's a nameless protagonist,
Silent
silent protagonist, not nameless, silent protagonist. It's not that high for me.
He's not a great character, right?
No.
He's just an avatar for the player to insert themselves, right? And while the Half-Life games are great, Gordon Freeman himself. Now, if it were Alex Vance on this list, we'd have something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Which maybe she should be. We can add that.
We
do part 2 of this.
We have Alex Vance, and then we have other Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah.
And we have the other guy from Assassin's Creed.
Ezio. Yeah.
Ezio. Yeah. So I want to put Gordon at D tier.
I'm with you. That's not a knock on Half-Life games.
It's a knock on Gordon.
It's a knock on Gordon as a character, right? And I would say that the choices they've made for Gordon in the Half-Life games are the right choices. They help make that game great, but it doesn't mean he's a great character. Right?
Take that, Gordy. He doesn't like when you call him Gordy.
Well, you don't know what he likes because he doesn't voice anything at all.
That's true. He has no opinion, so how would we know?
Yeah.
All right. Next character on this list is Joel from The Last of Us.
He is also a very well done protagonist. I don't like him as much as I like Ellie, so I guess that's the Last of Us expert here between the two of us, which I am not a Last of Us expert in real life, but between the two of us, I am the expert.
You are.
I'm gonna go A tier.
A tier? Okay,
he's A tier.
I'd agree with that.
He's great. He's great, but I like Ellie more. I think Ellie's cooler.
All right. Next up, John Marston from Red Dead Redemption.
The first Red Dead Redemption. He's in Red Dead Redemption
and the 2. He's in 2.
He is in it. He's a smaller character. He's
he's kind of like, he's young. He's growing up in it,
Yeah, and it is cool to see some of his backstory because the stuff that happens in the second Red Dead Redemption as a prequel does, like, it's references to stuff that he talks about in...
I think Red Dead Redemption might be one of my favorite video game stories because of the expansion that 2 did for 1.
Yeah.
Like, it really fleshed out what happens in 1 and explains more of it, which makes it better to me. Like, I think it's if you play them back to back, it's a great experience for the story. But John Marston, I don't like as much as Arthur Morgan, but I don't hate him. I'm thinking B or C. What do you think?
I'll say B.
You say B?
I'm good with B tier.
B tier.
We still don't have any F tiers.
We don't, but I have one.
Okay.
For sure.
Good.
I have one right there.
Good.
And I have a very good reason for it, I feel like, too. Okay. The next one is Kratos.
Kratos. So I don't have a lot of experience playing those games, but I'm like familiar enough with the character to kind of know sort of his arc. I think.
I know he calls his son boy a lot because of the memes. That's what I know. He's a bad dad, kind of. He's kind of a bad dad. Or is he a good dad?
I think he's a good dad. I think he's a bad and a good dad. I think he's a bad dad with a good heart, and ultimately the good heart wins out.
Oh.
That's what I think. I haven't played it, so I honestly don't know.
Well, what about
we got to talk about Kratos before.
Oh, because before the dad,
because those are not like remakes or like
that's
reboots.
like his earlier adventures.
Yeah,
before he had a child.
He kills every Greek god.
Every Greek god?
With spoilers, by the end of the third game, I think he kills every Greek god.
Wow.
Like the first game, God of War, his deal, he's got to kill God of War.
Ares.
And then in the second game, I think he's trying to kill Zeus.
Oh, geez.
And then in the third game, I think he's trying to kill the rest of them. I think.
This man does not like Greek deities. You know his least...
No, because they tricked him. They tricked him into killing his wife.
Oh, that's messed up.
And kid, I think. I think he had a kid in the very first.
You know what his least favorite Disney movie is? Hercules.
Oh, I bet
He
hates
hates
that
it.
movie.
He hates it so much.
He sides with Hades.
He
Maybe.
does.
I don't know, honestly.
Or he tries to
might
kill him.
Hades,
He tries to
yeah.
kill everything.
He sides with, I don't know, the Fate. What are the Weavers? The Fates?
The Fates?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Fates.
Yeah.
I like that movie. Okay, sorry for the sidetrack of
Anyway,
Disney movies.
I, with what little knowledge I have of him, I think he is probably a pretty good protagonist, and I'd be willing to put him in the A tier.
In the A tier?
Just based on not a lot. And maybe I'll get some emails about this. If you're like, please don't talk about characters you don't know about, send me an email. codexhistorypodcast@gmail.com.
Okay. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Next up, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
I don't know enough about
I
her.
played Tomb Raider 3.
Okay. So we haven't
and
played any of the new Tomb Raiders.
None of the new Tomb Raiders. So it's kind of hard because I feel like her character between Tomb Raider 1 and Tomb Raider, like the old Tomb Raiders, 1 through whatever, and then the new Tomb Raiders, very different.
Yeah,
when
and the
I
new ones are a reboot, right?
Yes, because when I played it, it was just a lady that raided tombs and was British. That's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
she was rich.
Yep.
That was the story. That's pretty much all there was to it as far as those games go. As far as like when I played 3.
Yeah,
That's
she was
what I
just
got.
like an Indiana Jones type.
Exactly.
This is basically like we wanted to make an Indiana Jones game, but we didn't get the license, so we made our own character.
Exactly. And then in the newer games, they really like gave her a backstory and they made her like about a struggle, like that she becomes the character that we know from this event that happens to her in the first reboot, I believe. It's
Okay.
kind of the gather what I gathered from it.
I really want to play those.
Yeah, they're good. I've heard they're good, especially the new ones are good. The old one, the reason I stopped playing Tomb Raider 3 as a kid is that the game I got was bugged. Like there's something wrong with the disc. Like I called that toll number, like to be like, what's going on? Like, no, it's not happening. I'm like, no, and they're like, you might have a bugged disc. I'm like, yeah, I guess I do.
Oh, man.
I still have a copy of the game. I have that copy.
Let's try to get past that part.
Yeah, I know. I might want to like emulate it. You know, it was very early on in the game too. It wasn't that far in.
Okay.
So I'm kind of torn because I don't have her experience with her with the new games, but my experience from the old games, she's very much like Agent 47. She has a backstory that is just enough that you need to play these games, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I want to put her at C tier for that, knowing that she's kind of 2 characters in one, and we're just talking about that early one.
And we think she's better than Gordon Freeman because of that.
Yes.
Okay.
She does more than Gordon Freeman, as in she talks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we cool with that?
Yep.
All right. I think it's our mutual S tier.
Okay. I agree with you. I want to put Link in the S tier. However, the same criticisms you had for Gordon Freeman.
Oh, it's
apply to
true
Link.
because he doesn't talk. I just love Link. The
I
swordsman.
mean, you can look. Hey, you can do whatever. We can do whatever we want.
No,
This is our podcast.
You're saving.
We
me
just
from,
need to acknowledge if we're being inconsistent. That's all.
You're savoring me. Well, sorry,
Oh,
that took a strange turn. You're saving me from hypocrisy, and I think that's good. How about we compromise and we put him in the B tier? That's in between S and
Okay.
D.
He's better than Gordon Freeman for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
he does say something. He says hat.
That's true. Yeah. And the picture that is here is the Toon Link variant, but we're not making distinctions between the different Link variants.
I mean,
right?
it would be kind of nice if we got more story. Yeah, I mean, we don't, because the Zelda timeline is a mess. But what we can gather and kind of guesstimate is there's different links throughout time, and like,
but they're all the same.
but they're all the same. And yeah, and that's kind of what makes it happen. So we're gonna put Link in the B tier. The next one, I don't know if I want to put him up high because he's kind of similar to Link in a way.
He's not silent, at least. This is Mario.
Mario,
The brother of Luigi Mario.
Luigi's not on the list. So we gotta put him on the list too.
Luigi is S tier, S plus tier. There's
Luigi, yeah.
He's not on this list because he's
He'd
a league of his own.
Yeah, because he's a beautiful human being. Luigi.
He's so far above everybody else. Everything else would be F tier.
I feel like it's Luigi and Waluigi holding hands at the top together. That's what it is. Yeah, that's why he can't be on this list.
Yep.
So Mario, though, I kind of want to put him C.
Wow.
Am I gonna do Mario dirty like that though?
I guess
don't know if
maybe
I
we
can.
should have agreed on like what criteria we're sort of like.
We're basing him on everyone else.
Well, I know, but like how, like what traits in a character do we value? Because like Mario as a character in the video game industry is S plus tier.
That's true.
Right?
He
Because, like,
sells sells everything. You're right.
Yeah, he's the best in terms of just like being a great mascot, having great gameplay, And his stories are fun too. Have you ever played the Mario and Luigi RPGs?
Yeah, you're
They're
right.
So funny.
That's the thing that's okay. So I think what's happening here is I am trying not to be hypocritical. I'm overthinking it too much. When I was a kid, I would pick Mario in everything. Every game that you could pick Mario in, like Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Mario Golf, I'd always want to play as Mario.
Yeah.
I need to embrace it in my heart again, my childhood heart.
You love him.
And I want to put him in S tier.
Hey, we got to put him in S tier. He saved the industry.
This is a shift. One of the biggest shifts I've ever had on our tier lists.
Dang.
Is putting him in S tier from the C tier. Because you convinced me. The next character I'm actually pretty excited to talk about because I've played all 3 of these games. And I don't know if we've talked about them on the podcast ever.
I think I have played none of the games, if this is who I think it is.
This is Max Payne.
Yeah, I played none of those games.
You played none of these games.
I didn't even watch the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Max Payne is an interesting character as he does have a story that he goes through, right? And then 1 and 2, and it's really dark and it's really noir-y. And then in 3, Rockstar took a big shift and made this like... Did you ever see the movie with Denzel Washington? I think it's called Man on Fire, where he's like the CIA agent that goes to like be a bodyguard to this like little girl and she gets kidnapped or whatever.
That sounds familiar.
Well, it's kind of a Man on Fire situation with Max Payne, and he goes to it's like a generic South American country. Like I don't even know if they really say where it is. It's just you get that from it. Like you almost get like Cuba or something vibes. And it's like him being older and like trying to deal with himself.
Oh, wow.
It goes through a lot. Now, is it good? That's up for debate.
Okay.
But was it more than I was expecting? Yes. So for that reason, I don't want to put him low. I want to put him with the B tier. And I know how weird that is because I'm putting Max Payne with Elizabeth, John Marston, and Link. But I think he deserves a little more credit than he normally gets.
Okay.
Definitely better than... Lara Croft from the early Tomb Raider games and Agent 47.
But you don't put him up there with Kratos and Joel and Geralt.
No. He's trying to get up to Kratos and Joel.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't think it would fit in with the story. I think he's kind of done. That's kind of what you get from those 3 games they made for him. But I would love another Max Payne game.
Are the first 2 like playable in the sense, because I know they're old. Like, do they hold up in the sense that like?
I think they hold up in certain ways. In other ways, they're going to be frustrating. There's a part in the first one where you're going to, and this is spoilers to a very old game, you have to walk in the dark on a path of bloody footprints. It's like a dream sequence kind of thing. I remember falling off so many times and getting so mad. And this was when I played the game when it was relatively new.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how frustrating that's going to be if you're playing it now.
Okay.
So... bear that in mind. There's things like that in the game. But I love Max Payne. Got a special place in my heart. I love the tonal shift from like East Coast dark detective noir story with like John Woo time change bullet time action to that same John Woo bullet time, but in a weird setting where he's much older in the tropics. It's like really interesting. So,
and that third one came out when Rockstar was really experimenting with doing really more story driven stuff, right? Like the stories in the GTA trilogy on PS2 was like they're fine, they're good as far as video game stories went, especially for the time. Then GTA 4 kind of went a little harder, right? And I think Max Payne 3 like came out sort of in that same era, like before Red Dead, right? Before the first Red Dead. So it was like them like experimenting with being way more like story driven, right?
Yeah, and they were really trying with it. I'm actually just double checking right now to make sure. Yeah, Man on Fire is the movie I was thinking of. So Man on Fire is like Denzel Washington's in Mexico City and he's like taking care of this like rich kid for this like rich guy, and he's like a former like government agent, awesome guy. And then let me see when Max Payne 3 came out, because it's one of those things where you're like it came out. It came out in 2012. So it's
okay.
It was really.
So that's actually after.
It
Red
was
Dead.
after Red Dead, and it was like they kind of took their old IP, Rockstar did, and they were trying to give it, more story like they did with Red Dead.
Because the GTA 5 would come out a year later.
Yeah.
And like keep doing that story thing.
Yeah.
And then Rockstar never made another game.
Yeah, and that's Max Payne trying to like be a thing, but it was just really funny to me because everyone that was like playing the game was like, did you watch Man on Fire? And I was like, yeah, like, they kind of did Man on Fire, but with Max Payne. I'm like, that's really weird. And it's like, it's almost, I don't want to say it's like blatantly stealing, but it's just like, this is a lot. Like, it's a lot to know. You notice it.
You could get this in front of a judge at least.
Yeah.
In terms
and be
of
like,
the judge might not rule in your favor, but like you could probably get it there.
Yeah. I actually really want to replay Max Payne 3 because I played it when I was pretty early into comedy and I was out of college in 2010. So yeah, 2012. So I played it relatively new when it came out because my buddy, who's a comedian, was like, you need to play this. He's like, they've actually done like something very different with Max Payne. And he was right. And I was really, really impressed. Shout out to Yogi Pollywell, my comedy friend.
What up, Yogi?
What up, Yogi? He was a great recommendation, and I think I borrowed it from him too. And I actually kind of want to get a copy of it because it means that much to me.
It goes on sale on Steam all the time.
Oh yeah, and I think the Max Payne games would be worth you playing, and I would watch you play them because it's been a long time since I've.
You play Metal Gear?
I'll play Metal Gear.
Max Payne.
One of those is more of a commitment than the other because I don't think Max Payne's long.
Well, Metal Gear's not that long either.
It's not really.
They're not like.
I guess that's true. They're like older. Yeah, they got that older, like probably like 10 hours.
Yeah, the first one's like 10 hours. The second one's like 8 to 10.
I will do this.
Third one's like 15.
I will play this with you the moment you come where so we're together still. So the moment we're done with this weird summertime busyness,
yeah,
I will play this with you.
Okay,
online.
You play Metal Gear. I'll play Max Payne.
Although we got to finish Kingdom Hearts too.
That's true.
On both Kingdom Hearts 2, the number 2, and also we need to finish them.
Oh yeah, we need to finish Kingdom Hearts 2 too. And we're kind of moving through that whole series. Like I do want to keep playing.
I do too. I was loving it.
Yeah.
I missed it when I was in Africa. I thought about it.
We didn't play it at all, so
I felt like a nobody.
We didn't play it without you. We almost did. I thought about it, and we didn't.
I know. I heard you guys waited for me. That was so nice. That's so nice. All right, Max Payne is in the B tier. Next one is one that you know and are familiar with because it's Sony.
Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake.
Oh, that's right. You don't have a PlayStation, so have you haven't really played the Uncharted series?
I played Uncharted 3. Didn't beat it. Played like 2 or 3 hours of it at a friend's house one day. He let me just play it while I was waiting for him. Yep, it was really fun.
It's really good.
I
the fourth one
escaped a train that was falling off a cliff. It felt really cool.
Yeah, the fourth one is on PC.
Oh,
fourth one and the expansion for it, but you do really need
I want to play the first 3 because I've heard the first one and the second one are kind of overlooked, but they have like really cool elements. Like I heard you're like
they're not overlooked. I think they're pretty well.
I mean, I guess like overlooked in the sense that there's not a lot of opportunities to play them now. Like you'd have to just get an emulator or something.
You can play the like remastered collection on PS4.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
dude, there was
is the best way to play them for sure.
There was someone giving away a PS4 at my job. I should have just said, thrown it out there.
You can probably get a PS4 relatively cheap.
I'm sure I can.
Like a base model.
Oh yeah, I can find one because I would like to play these games because I've heard they're really good and I've heard like 1 and 2 are like very much more like Indiana Jonesy. Like they have more like. There's conquistadors and Nazis and like weird stuff going and ghosts. Like it gets weird.
We watched the Indiana Jones movies recently because we wanted to go see the new one, and so we rewatched like all the other ones because it's been years since I watched any of them, and I hadn't seen the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull one with Shia LaBeouf, and I was watching watching like the first 3 Indiana Jones. I'm like, dang, Uncharted really ripped these off. But Uncharted games are great.
Yeah,
and there are there are some Indiana Jones games, but.
A modern Indiana, like the time period is different. So it's like, because Indiana Jones, I often forget. I'm like, it's in the 50s.
It's like in the 30s, the first few.
Oh, that's right. It's before World War II. So it's in the 30s.
I think the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was maybe in the 50s.
Yeah, and then
I don't know what the new one is.
The new one's supposed to be interesting because it's like the 70s or something. And I haven't seen the new one. I want to.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I really want to go see it.
Uncharted ripped him off pretty heavily, but it's fine. We're all okay with it.
And we feel good about Nathan Drake as a protagonist in that? Because he's kind of like a funny guy, right?
I think he's A tier. Yeah.
You think he's A tier?
I think he's A tier.
All right, Nathan Drake, you funny guy.
Talked about Nathan Drake for a long time. Talked about Uncharted for a long time.
We did. All right. The next one, I have a bad experience with this game, as in I didn't enjoy it when I played it, and I never beat it, and I don't care about this protagonist.
You don't want to go bowling with Nico? Or with Roman?
I'm so tired of Roman asking me to do things. This is Nico Bellic from Grand Theft Auto 4.
Nico Bellic.
Now, I get that he's probably the most defined character before Grand Theft Auto 5.
He for sure was. Like this is again that same sort of era of like Rockstar's like, okay, we make story games now, and GTA 4 it had some things to say like about war and like what it does.
Yeah, which is a shame because I loved CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Yeah.
Like I was a big CJ stan, if you will. I loved that you could just like work out at the gym until you got super ripped and then like go beat people up. Nico Bellic I feel like he's what you put into him in the game.
That's maybe true.
And that shapes him. I don't think he's like F tier or anything,
No.
but I don't put him up very high because he's in the same way of like Gordon Freeman or Agent 47 or even early Laura Croft. You're putting yourself into those shoes easily.
I put him above Gordon. Just because he has, I'll say C tier because he does have a backstory. He talks. He's a character with motivations.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his own demons that he overcomes. Right? He's got a full arc.
But do you want to go bowling with Roman?
Not really.
I don't either. I'm so tired. Or going on dates.
Yep.
I didn't play Grand Theft Auto to have a dating simulator.
Yep. You could do that in San Andreas also.
Yeah, I would ignore it. I would actively just do it, not do it.
Yeah.
All right, the next one is a man near and dear to your heart, Tyler. That's Solid Snake.
S tier. Moving on.
No explanation needed.
He is a very well fleshed out character who has a very strange past. And this is Solid Snake specifically because I don't know if you know this, but there are many snakes.
Oh, there's Liquid Snake?
Liquid Snake, Solidus Snake, that's fine. There's Naked Snake, who is... So Solid Snake is a clone of Naked Snake. And so when you're playing Metal Gear Solid 3, you're just playing Naked Snake. I know you're staring at me because I keep saying Naked Snake.
Just another example of Hideo Kojima's genius.
Yeah, well, he's the clone of Naked Snake.
If you want to call it that.
And Naked Snake is actually a better character than Solid Snake. And Solid Snake is great. Naked Snake is even better. Or Big Boss. We can call him Big Boss if that makes him more comfortable.
So Big Boss, the bad guy in I'm using quotes, bad guy.
Bad guy in Metal Gear 2.
That's Naked Snake.
Yes. So that's not really spoilers. I guess we all knew that's when they announced Metal Gear Solid 3, they were like, it's Snake in the 60s. And they're like, oh, it's Big
Do they
Boss.
have an internet thing where it tells you what your snake adjective is up front? Because there should be.
I'm sure it exists. Like, what is my snake? Because there's Venom Snake. There's Naked Snake, Old Snake. Not all of these are. Not all of these are different people.
They're not all bangers.
No, and they're not all different people. Solid Snake is Old Snake.
Slippery Snake. Slippery Snake.
There's not a Slippery Snake. Liquid Snake, Solid Dust Snake.
Is there a gas snake? If there's solid liquid, there has to be a gas snake.
Gaseous snake? There's not.
There's not a gas snake?
Gaseous snake. There should be one in like some sort of like goofy parody or something where it's just like a snake who just farts all the time.
I have like 30 versions of Snake in my head that I cannot say on this podcast based on what we are as a podcast, but maybe I'll put them in the Discord as a big list at some point.
Anyway, you're gonna love it when you play through Metal Gear Solid.
I am.
Because it's so
excited.
goofy, but we're taking it seriously.
I know. We're going to take it seriously. I'm excited. I almost want to set up streaming before I do this.
Okay.
So I could stream me playing Metal Gear Solid. So that way listeners can like watch and maybe see you or hear you or something. So we can do it together.
Co-stream.
We can co-stream it together.
Metal Gear Solid.
I think that'd be a fun project for us, for funsies.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's, for the same reason Mario is, he's kind of got to be S tier, right? But you could say he's not as cool as Mario, or maybe he's way cooler than Mario, depending on. Oh, you were a Sega Genesis kid, so
I was.
Talk to me, Mike.
But I also love Super Mario World, so
yeah.
I was a both.
Yeah.
And Sonic, yeah, he's cool. He's a cool guy. Epitome of cool. Yep, Tyler's shaking his finger like at the end of a stage right now.
Yeah,
and he's right. He's really cool.
He's like specifically designed to be cool.
That is true. S tier. There's so many S tiers right now, but it's okay. So
that's fine.
But we're gonna have some duds coming up.
This is our podcast. We do whatever we want.
That's true. I definitely have. I have maybe multiple F tiers actually coming up.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, John Shepard.
S tier.
S tier for Shepard.
Shepard.
Rex.
Dude, Shepard's great.
But Shepard is again a character.
He's a little bit of a blank
slate.
Yeah, he or she, which
exactly.
As far as I'm concerned, Shepard is only a woman.
That's right.
In all of Metal Gears, of Mass Effects, because I only ever play woman Shepard.
What if woman Shepard was in Metal Gear Solid? Would you lose your mind if it was a crossover? An epic crossover?
Man, that would be a great crossover.
Okay.
You could even in Metal. God, I keep saying Metal Gear. in Mass Effect 3, you could take the label out of your like the Xbox case and like flip it around in female Shepard.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I did that.
Nice.
I'd do it at my friend's house too when they weren't looking. I'd be like,
You flip it around and put it back in and see if they notice?
Yep.
That's funny. I mean, for me, Shepard's just not that high for me. Like,
maybe I just love Mass Effect, and maybe I don't love
that's
Shepard.
what I'm wondering. Are you blinded by Mass Effect? Because if Rex was on this list, Rex would be up
Again,
there.
everybody would be F tier.
Yeah, everyone would be up tier. It'd be Rex and Luigi holding hands at the top of the list.
Rex, Luigi, and Waluigi.
And Waluigi. I think for me, I was thinking B tier for Shepard. Is that too low for you? You got to tell me what you want, though. It's your call.
B tier's okay. B tier's
okay?
Yeah.
Right.
Now that you mention it, I think I just love Mass Effect more than I love Shepard.
I'm gonna the next one I'm gonna disappoint some people, I think, because the next one's Donkey Kong.
But he's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail. His coconut gun can fire in spurts. If he shoots you, it's gonna hurt. That's all I know.
That's
DK rap.
The DK rap.
Which was in the Super Mario Brothers
He's
movie.
the least interesting Kong. Dixie Kong, Diddy Kong,
Yeah.
Cranky Kong.
Even Cranky Kong is more interesting than Donkey Kong. I agree.
C tier is where I want to put Donkey Kong.
I put him in D tier.
D tier?
Yeah.
D tier it is. Sorry, Donkey Kong. All right, the next one is I always forget his name and this is maybe one of the reasons we shouldn't do this character, but I have played a little bit of Dead Space.
Is it Isaac?
It's Isaac something. I don't remember his last name.
I had it on.
But and this is important because Dead Space, and we're kind of going to talk about very similar to Tomb Raider here. In the original Dead Space, which is the one that I played a little bit of, he is a silent protagonist. He does not speak, and then they made him speak and have voice lines in this new remake that came out of the game.
Oh.
So how does that change his character? And I haven't played Dead Space 2 or 3, so I don't really know if I even should
I haven't
grade
played
him
any
yet.
of them. I don't. Scary games, not for me.
Should we not do it? I don't think we should.
Maybe
grade
we
him
shouldn't
then.
rank him.
Yeah, we shouldn't rank him then. So we're gonna move. We're not gonna rank him yet. And if you have any thoughts on how we should handle this, when you have a character whose game had a remake that altered them,
Yeah.
how we should look at
Like
it.
Lara Croft is kind of the same
Lara
way,
Croft
right?
is hard because I'm basing Lara Croft entirely off of the game that I played, which is 3.
Yeah.
And then I know her character's changed.
Yeah.
A lot. All right. Next one is going to be a surprise, I think, from me. That is Master Chief himself, the Master
John
Chef.
117.
John
Spartan
117.
117.
I love Halo. You know how much I love Halo.
I love Halo too. I've played every Halo game with you.
I don't want to put him up high. I don't think he goes up high. I think he goes like C. I think he's very similar to Agent 47, where he's got a backstory, but he's not a big. He's just.
Even his backstory is not even terribly interesting. It's more of just like this guy's like super awesome and really great at everything, and he has always been that way, even when he was a kid.
But
right?
his backstory is like super traumatic at the same
that
time.
too.
Like he comes up in a terrible traumatic thing, but he's awesome, and that's the whole backstory.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to compare him and Doom Guy when we cover Doom Guy in the next episode too. As a protagonist.
Doom Guy's on our list for later. Yeah, okay. C tier, is that what you said?
I said C.
Okay.
For
I'm good with that.
for the Master Chef himself. Now these next two, we're gonna do them together because they're from the same game series.
Oh, yeah.
Mortal Kombat. We don't even have Street Fighter characters on here. We got to put them on here too.
Yeah.
Because I know Street Fighter characters.
I don't know Mortal Kombat characters.
So we got Sub-Zero and Scorpion on here.
Aren't they the same? They're palette swaps of each other, right?
Yeah,
At least in the original.
Yeah, and then in the story they have different backstories and stuff. But here's my thing about fighting game characters is you're gonna have a lot to make me like really love them. And these two guys they're just cool. You know what I mean? They're just cool guys, cool moves. And I know there's more backstory in the later games, but I haven't played those. I kind of want to put them in D tier.
I was going to say, are these our first F tiers?
No, I am saving F tier for the man we'll talk about after these two. Because this man gets F tier for a very specific reason for me.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I'm putting Scorpion and Sub-Zero in the D tier. If people are upset by this, you should email the podcast, codexhistorypodcast@gmail.com, because I Want to know what you think, and I want to know why I'm wrong.
Tweet at Mike or whatever it is now. X at Mike.
X at
Threads
me.
at Mike.
I'm on Threads
I'm
at me
also on
Coletta.
Threads.
It's same thing.
Tyler Osby.
Ooh, we should
OSB.
thread each other.
Are we not? I follow you on Instagram, don't we?
Okay, then we're friends on
I
Threads
think
already.
I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh man.
I should.
Wow.
If not, I should.
Wow,
Ooh,
the
wow.
friendship just took a toll today.
I don't do a lot. I don't. Do
That's
a lot
okay.
on
I don't really either. Okay, so to the detriment of my comedy career. Okay, so the last person that is on this list that we know today is someone near and dear to my heart because I recently played their game, and that is Duke Nukem.
Ah,
Now,
the Duke himself.
The Duke himself is a shallow parody of action heroes, and he just pulls all the things from like misogynistic 80s action heroes you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think because he's just an amalgamation of other characters.
He doesn't have anything to say about those characters.
No, he doesn't. He's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to put him at F tier for that
Down.
reason.
And also,
Now-
Duke Nukem Forever is a bad game.
Yeah, but Duke Nukem 3D is not a bad game.
That's true.
So I feel like it's funny because he's a character that in your mind, I think he'd go either F tier or S tier and nothing in between. I feel like
Yeah,
if
you
you
either
love
really
him,
love him.
because he's so ridiculous, that's an argument to say
Sure.
he's so ridiculous, it's so funny, put him in S tier. But in my experience, he's so ridiculous, so shallow, and honestly, not that funny a majority of the time.
That's
it's
true.
just like kind of like elementary school parody.
It would be different if he were funny. And like I think it's because he's a like you said, he's an amalgamation of all these things, but he doesn't there's no commentary happening.
Exactly. There's no, it's not like, okay, like Tommy Vercetti from Grand Theft Auto Vice City, who I should put on the next protagonist list.
Oh yeah.
We
need to have Claude.
We need to have CJ on there.
CJ. We need to have the three from GTA 5.
Do we need to do the ones from the Ballad of Gay Tony, the characters?
Oh yeah, Tony and Luis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never played that, but I know you love that.
Oh, I love Ballad of Gay
DLC.
Tony. And who's the guy in The Lost and the Damned? And he's in. He comes back in 5, I think.
He does.
briefly.
Yeah, he does.
I forget his name though.
I forget his name too, but because I feel like some people will say that he should be S tier because he's so ridiculous and silly, but in my mind, he just misses the mark. So I'm going to put him at F tier. He's got nothing of substance to him.
Yeah, I can see what you were trying to do. You missed.
Yep. Because I was saying Tommy Vercetti though is a parody of like Scarface and 80s movies,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like because he has a story on his own,
Yeah.
that it stands out. Duke Nukem's story is I'm awesome. Look at me fight stuff, and that's the whole story.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess maybe we can laugh at that because it's sort of funny on its face, but like Tommy Vercetti is, like you said, this a similar like sort of amalgamation of other characters, but his story has something to say.
Yeah.
Right? It's its own commentary, and like they use those tropes to like further the message they're trying to get across. Duke Nukem has no message.
Tommy Vercetti, I would argue, is a better 80s action hero than Duke Nukem.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on the tier list for today. So do you want me just to run through it real quick?
Yeah, just run through it real quick. Starting
right.
at the F tier.
F tier, Duke Nukem. We just explained why. We'll move on. D tier, that's Altair from Assassin's Creed. Gordon Freeman.
Which is going to be controversial, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Donkey Kong, also controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero, maybe controversial, depending on our fighting game fans. C tier, Agent 47 from the Hitman series. Lara Croft, Nico Bellic, and Master Chief. B tier, Elizabeth from BioShock. We should include the other BioShock protagonists in the list if we're going to do Elizabeth.
Yeah, Booker for sure. I feel like the protagonist in the first one is, I mean, there's a really good twist around him being the protagonist, but
he's kind of in the
not
same
that great
name.
a
He's
character.
very much a C tier to me because
Yeah,
he's got the
just
same
not
kind of
very
thing
good.
going on.
Yeah.
John Marston is B tier also, and then Link, and then Max Payne, and then Shepard, whether it's female or male Shepard, but your Shepard. A tier, Arthur Morgan, Witcher, Geralt of Rivia from The Witcher. We have Joel from The Last of Us. We have Kratos from God of War, and we have Nathan Drake from Uncharted. S tier, we have Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, Ellie from The Last of Us, Mario from Mario Nintendo fame, and we have
Just list all the Mario games real quick.
Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid series, and then we have Sonic the Hedgehog. Either way, Arthur Morgan might be the character in a video game I impersonate the most by myself when no one's around, because when you pet a dog in Red Dead Redemption 2, he does this thing where he's like, who's a good boy? And I don't know why, but I say that all the time by myself.
Who's a good boy?
Who's a good boy? And it's just so funny because he's like a murderous cowboy, but he has a heart of gold when it comes to puppy dogs. And I love that. That's another reason he's A tier, everybody.
Yep. He contains multitudes.
He does contain multitudes. So the next time we are all together, and Tyler and
Online.
I on the internet,
Yeah.
we're going to continue this tier list, and we're going to add protagonists that we're not included on this one online. The online ones are easy for us to start with because then we can like drag and drop, but we'll add more to this, and we'll kind of just go from there. But
All right.
alrighty, and I took a picture of the image so I can put it on the Discord when the episode comes out too.
All right.
But I'll put a spoiler tag on it so people don't know.
Good call.
But with that, you can send us an email with all your comments, concerns, or questions to Codex History
If you
Podcast.
disagree with us, please tell us. We want
Yeah.
to hear it. We do.
We do. CodexHistoryPodcast@gmail.com. CodexPodcast.net is our website. You can go there and do anything and everything you want to do. Discord's on there. Twitter's on there. Our Trello boards are on there. You can even send us an email through the contact form on there. It's all there. And with that, Tyler, do you want to say bye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody.